So, good morning, dear students of classes 9 and 10. Today, we are going to take up something very special with regard to your English composition. Now, here on your screen, you can see paper 1 English language, 2 hours and 80 marks. Now, the question number 1 is your composition or essay writing, as you commonly call it. Now, in composition, there are different types and varieties of composition which are given to you. For writing, you have a good number of choices. You have 4 direct topics and you also have a picture composition. So today we are going to focus mainly on picture composition. But before we begin discussing picture composition, let us see what are the essential requirements for writing any composition, whether it is a picture composition or whether it is a direct topic which you are attempting. So the council syllabus guideline is on your screen and it is very clearly said, question number 1, candidates will be required to write a composition of about 300 to 350 words from a choice of subjects which will test their ability to organize, describe, narrate, report, explain, persuade or argue, present ideas coherently with accuracy and precision. Precision and accuracy more or less mean the same. Compare and contrast ideas and arrive at conclusions. Present relevant arguments and use correct style and format. So you see, the council has given a whole list of what it expects from you when you attempt the comprehension or rather the composition question. And then the subjects will be varied and may be suggested by language or by other stimuli such as pictures. So that is where we come to picture composition. You are provided with a picture and you have to look at the picture with your eyes, think about it, and then write about it. So the subjects will be so chosen so as to allow the candidates to draw on first-hand experience or to stimulate their imagination. So it has to be original. First-hand experience means you should be writing it on your own from your way of thinking and your way of organizing. So keep that in mind. With one subject, a number of suggestions about the content of the composition will be given, but the use of the suggestions will be optional and a candidate will be free to treat the subject in any way he or she chooses. That means the question will provide you with some suggestions, with some ideas which you may or may not make use of. You are free to use them. On the other hand, you can also treat the subject matter in your own decided way. Okay, now attempting the composition question in ICC English language or English paper 1, the following are the steps one must follow to score good marks in the composition writing. Number 1, read the given topics very carefully and choose the one you feel is the easiest for you. Remember, the one which you think is the easiest for you or you can comfortably attempt it, you should go for that topic rather than going for something which you may not be able to write much, in which you may not be able to write much. So make use of your thinking power and think beforehand. You see, proper mental preparation is required before you start writing. So think, if you are able to attempt that topic, if you are able to write enough in that topic, if you are, then you should go ahead. Number 2, once you decide upon the topic, think up at least 5 to 6 good points on the topic about which you can write in your essay. Number 3, go through the points mentally and arrange them in a proper sequence. First I will write this, then I will write this, then I am going to write this, and finally I am going to write this. So arrange them in a proper sequence in your brain. the sequence in which you want to discuss them in your composition. Then number 4, remember that your composition carries 20 marks as prescribed by the council, and the word limit as mentioned in your question paper is 300 to 350 words. So don't exceed 350 words. Nobody is asking you to write more than that. If you write, you are not going to get extra credit for it. You are not going to get extra marks for it. So stick to the word limit given. Number 5, you are advised not to spend more than 35 minutes on question 1. In the question paper itself, in the board question paper or in the term exam question papers, you will find it is given with the question, do not spend more than 35 minutes on this question. So that 35 minutes is the maximum time you should spend in writing 350 words. 350 words, 35 minutes. So that's 10 words a minute. That's more than sufficient, more than enough. In a minute, writing 10 words is, I should say, too much of time already given. So do justice to the time and write your composition. This means that choosing the topic, thinking up the points, arranging the points mentally, and getting ready to write the composition all together should not take up more than 5 to 7 minutes. And the actual writing time could be, the actual writing time will be 30 minutes to maybe 28 to 30 minutes. So number 6, when you begin to write, your composition should have 3 distinct sections. This is very important. Most of the students don't do this, and that is why they lose vital marks. Your composition should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Introduction should be a short paragraph. Body should have at least 2 to 3 paragraphs. And then the conclusion should also be a short paragraph. Your introduction should have a direct connection with the topic. You must come to the point without wasting time and not write anything which does not relate to the topic. So come to the point. Don't beat around the bush. Don't talk about this and that and ultimately you are wasting your time. Come to the point, see the topic. That is why I said in the beginning, understanding the topic and choosing the topic is of prime importance. If you can do that properly, then coming to the point will not be a problem. Okay? So do not write anything which does not relate to the topic. The introduction should be just one short paragraph of 6 to 8 lines. That's my suggestion. All these points are suggested personally by me. From my experience of all these years, the way the ICSE wants you to write, on the basis of that, I have purposely prepared these points specially for you all so that it's easier for you to remember, easier for you to implement. Now, following point number 8, following the introduction, you must change the paragraph and begin with the body of the essay. Like I told you, most students make the mistake of writing in one single continuous paragraph. It goes on and on and on. There are no breaks and it is so monotonous and it really does not demarcate the different areas of the composition. So making paragraphs and writing is of most or the utmost importance. So you must change the paragraph and begin with the body of the essay. In the body of the essay, use the points you have thought up earlier and go on expanding them, elaborating them. Go into details. Point is in your mind. Now expand it. Elaborate them in a proper sequence. As I told you, step by step. First this, then this, then this, and then this, like that. Okay? The body can have 3 or 4 paragraphs of varying lengths. I said 2 or 3. You can make it 3 or 4 also. Depends on different points which you have. So short paragraphs will also do. Not too short, not too lengthy. Maintain a standard limit for the paragraphs, more or less. So plus minus few lines, that doesn't really matter. But the paragraph should be there. Then number 9. Finally, when you are done with discussing all your points, change the paragraph and end the composition, end your essay with a conclusion. which again should be of a short paragraph of 6 to 8 lines. In the conclusion, you may discuss the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages, or give any critical opinion with regard to the essay topic you have discussed in the body. Now the council says, this is said by the council on your screen, what you can see in printed in smaller letters, the organization of subject matter, syntax, punctuation, correctness of grammatical constructions and spelling will be expected to be appropriate to the mode of treatment required by the subject. Which means your marks will also depend on all these things, not just on the structure, not just on the form, and not just on the content, but also on your correct use of punctuation, spellings, grammar, all these things. You have to work on them. Otherwise, you will not be able to write in a proper way. Now we come to picture composition. As I said in the beginning, today's topic mainly is picture composition. I've given you a synopsis of composition writing, about which I had already made another video earlier and I had shared with you a long time ago. So I just gave you a briefing about that in the beginning, so as to remind you, because now for your test you have already got the syllabus. You are going to get two specific types of composition writing. One is based on direct topic, that is a topic will be given, and with that optional would be the second one, that is picture composition. So today let us focus on picture composition. After this, study the picture given below. This is the question, this is the typical question given in the question paper. This is what is always written in the question paper. Study the picture given below. Write a story or an account of what the picture suggests to you. Your composition may be about the subject. This is very important. Your composition must be about the subject of the picture, or you may take suggestions from it, but there must be a clear connection between the picture and the composition. So this is the picture on your screen. You can see that this is a kind of sidewalk or footpath in the market. There is this chemist's shop where a boy is buying something. Two attendants are talking to the boy, and there is a bus moving along the street. So that is on the other side of the street, and then this side you can see a man walking with a briefcase or a bag in his hand, and then there is this pickpocket coming up from behind him and picking his pocket. You can see that he is picking the pocket of this man. And then there are some school children. Here you can see some friends going to school or coming from school. These school children, obviously they are coming or going to school because they have their school bags on their backs, and two girls and a boy, and they are surprised. You can see that they are looking with a kind of shock or surprise on their faces. They are witnessing the pickpocket picking the pocket of this man. So this is your picture. Now you have an answer. Here is a model answer. I'm not saying your answer should be exactly the same. So after looking at this picture, see, look at the picture once again. After looking at this picture, what have they said in the question? That you may take suggestions from it. The composition may be about the subject of the picture, and there should be a clear connection between the picture and the composition. So three things must be remembered. So subject of this picture is the pickpocket picking someone's pocket in a public place. So we can see that happening. And now you have basically five characters who are the main characters. You can prepare a story also. You can generalize about how pickpockets steal money from people in especially crowded areas or public places. So you can possibly generalize on that, and you can also even write a story based on this picture. You can give names to these three kids. You can call them by some name, and you can say that they are friends, or maybe they are sisters and brother. They are returning from school, or they were going to the school one morning when they saw this happening in front of their eyes. And then after that, what did they do? They have seen the pickpocket, so they have reported to the police, and they have given the description of the man, and then eventually the pickpocket was traced down, tracked down by the police, and the money was recovered and returned to this gentleman. So whatever be the case, it is up to you. Now here there is a model answer on your screen. I am reading this answer, you can just have a look. The menace of pickpockets is rather common. See, beginning with an introduction, as I told you, any composition, whether it is picture composition or based on a direct topic, you have to give an introduction first. So generalizing on what is happening with regard to the subject matter of this picture. The menace of pickpockets is rather common in all major cities in India. If you have an iPhone, iPad, you might want to use the app called Be Safe that lets you assess hotspots of where pickpockets and gangs prowl. So, by means of your smartphone or smart device, you can use the app Be Safe, and you can find out the areas in the city where you have to be more careful, where pickpocketing takes place more and gangsters and such other shady characters roam about. So you have to, if you happen to go to those areas, you have to be extra careful about your valuables and your money. So where pickpockets and gangs prowl, and which are the most dangerous neighborhoods. See, the introduction is over. Paragraph changes. Notice that the introduction, how many lines? As I told you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 lines. That's what I told you in the points which I discussed earlier. That you have to write a short introduction, a short paragraph of 6 to 8 lines. So it could be 1 or 2 lines more, doesn't matter, but it should be a short paragraph. Then changing the paragraph. A person might sit down in a park or lounge on a station or bus stop. Then the pickpocket sits behind the person facing the other way. They usually work in groups. So you must give details of how this activity actually takes place, because people know that pickpockets, they are gangsters, and they do organized crime. They have their associates. They don't work alone. If one is picking the pocket, the other is watching out for any chances of being caught. So they will face the other way. They usually work in groups and will use a strange distraction method like extremely loud music to distract you. The pickpocket slides his or her hand into the person's coat pockets. So pickpockets are not only men, there are lots of women pickpocketeers also. So you have men and women equally in this profession, like in any other profession. So we talk in terms of equal rights for women. So even in such activities also you can expect women. So sometimes you don't even suspect woman carrying a small baby in her arms and busily attending to the baby, but the purpose is actually different, trying to divert your attention, because you will not even think that this woman with a kid could possibly be a pickpocket. And so she sits down beside you, and then she does it, and you lose your money. So the pickpocket slides his or her hand into the person's coat pockets and steals its contents. They are very professional. They leave fast and get lost in the crowd outside. Once they have picked your pocket, they will not stay there. Quickly they will get up and disappear. One must be particularly aware in the colder months with heavy coats on the metro, at bus stops or any crowded place. When it is crowded, it is very easy for the pickpockets to slip their hands in big pockets. Do not keep valuables in exterior coat pockets or back pockets, on backpacks, knapsacks, and keep your purse in front of you where you can see it. So for boys, the best place to keep your money is your shirt pocket in front. Somebody tries to take it out from here, you can see the movement of the hand in front of you. Those who use wallets are the ones whose pockets are picked the most in crowded buses and trains. I have seen this happening. So I have had a few instances of friends who were who were victimized, they lost their wallet. It happens. Pickpockets will stand very close to you on the train. So you see the paragraph changes again. They will stand very close to you on the train, or even if it is not crowded, they will still stand next to you. They can be very well dressed and extremely young girls that look 8 or 10. Even small girls, 8 to 10 years old. They are also trained and put into this profession. They have bigger gangs who operate behind them. They will put their bag close to yours and reach underneath with their other hand to try to reach in yours. So suppose your bag is kept on the side, they will put their bag alongside your bag, and then underneath the bag they will just put their hands to reach your bag, open the zip of your bag and take out the valuables. Thieves are at this time either already, so again the paragraph changes, you can see, in the train or even outside, and they will take advantage of the situation when the doors are closing to swiftly catch the victim's bag and run away in the metro's tunnels. So that happens in the metro rail system. Okay, so when the doors are closing, there is an announcement inside the compartment, please stay away from the doors are now closing, the train will start moving. So right at that moment when the doors are closing, they'll suddenly snatch and the door closes and you cannot do anything about it, because once the door closes automatically, it can only be opened by the driver of the train when the train goes and stops in the next station. So your money is gone, you cannot get down also to run after the pickpocket. They make use of this opportunity, so they steal things. Sometimes you have cases of mobile phone snatchers, especially when you are traveling by the normal train and you are standing near the doorway talking to someone. These people can, when the train is entering a station, it's generally very slow, they will just run up to the compartment, snatch your mobile and run off in the opposite direction. So you have to be extra careful about such activities. So as soon as they start running, an accomplice takes the belonging and runs in the opposite direction, so that they make sure that they are not going to be easily arrested. The best strategy to follow is to avoid staying close to the doors within the train. Many pickpockets do their job while it is crowded and people are about to enter the train. This is usually a moment where people are more distracted and vulnerable. So one must keep a safe distance from strangers, especially at crowded places. Hold bags. If you are carrying a bag, hold the strap of your bag tightly and always be vigilant, careful. Look this way and that way, just like the security forces do when they are providing security to the VIPs. The same way your movement should always be. Don't just look in front and just casually keep on walking, or you must always look around. Just see left and right. Look for possible culprits around you, possible characters around you. If you find somebody suspicious, then be more on your guard and keep your money in the front pocket. So this is a sample picture composition. It is not of 300 or 350 words. It is just a sample, a short sample, which will just give you some idea about how to go about writing a picture composition on the pickpocket. And the other option, as I told you, is that this was based on the subject of the picture. You can also give names to the characters present on the screen, in the photograph or in the picture, and you can also prepare a short story based on this particular incident. So that is also possible. So it is up to you. You have to use your imagination, and in this way, if you write, then your picture composition will be a very successful one. So I have already given you all the details of how to write a composition. I have given you a sample picture composition for you to understand. Now this is part of your syllabus for the test, and you will be getting one such composition to write. So I would expect you to write it well and write it in 300 to 350 words. So that's it. I hope you have understood. Thank you very much.